This is Dave at AFX Search, licensed investigators in Palm Beach, Florida. We run a lot of investigations for clients who are working on different types of civil lawsuits. In a lot of cases, there's an advantage to having an investigator work with a small claims litigant. Small claims lawsuit typically will not have an attorney working with either party because of the lower dollar amount of the claim. This was a case where we're working on credit card fraud. There was a merchant who made some charges for our client on their credit card in person. They were physically at this merchant's place of business. They had a signed credit card receipt. So the claimant put in a chargeback request, reversal of their charge with their merchant card issuer. The problem is, because it was a signed receipt and they also had a signed bill of sale, then the merchant prevailed in that chargeback claim. So instead, they filed a small claims lawsuit. The investigator went to the same merchant to document the events. What had happened was the merchant was having the customer sign not only their credit card receipt saying that they authorized the charge, but also an invoice saying they had already received the goods and services, even though they hadn't received them yet, and they were to walk around to the loading dock or into the merchant's business to actually receive these goods and services. Come to find out, when they were delivered these items, they weren't the same as what was on the invoice, but at that point they had already signed saying they received them and really didn't know that they were defective and subpar until they got home. So we had our investigator go to the merchant and duplicate that process. They were able to go in and record that they were signing in advance, which is against the merchant agreement, record that they received subpar merchandise, and had that information to support the claimant's case when it went to small claims lawsuit. Because of the fact that this was intended to be used as rebuttal evidence in the lawsuit, so that the claimant said this is what happened, the defendant said no, it's not, the claimant had this evidence as rebuttal, it was kind of blindsided for the defendant, and the claimant prevailed. So a little bit of investment and some investigation might assist in a small claims lawsuit. Remember, in small claims, you have the advantage of not having to spend thousands and thousands on legal fees. So you have a little bit more of a budget to maybe do some investigation to have an advantage over the opposing side, which probably doesn't have any investigation or attorneys. Remember, in a small claims case, there's no do-overs. You can't go back and say, well, the other side made this claim, it was a lie, we can prove it's a lie. At that point, it's too late. You have to have your evidence in court on that date. You can't refute a claim made by the other side unless you have that evidence right there ready to go. And be sure, if you have a claim against another party, that if there was fraud involved or any misrepresentations, they're probably going to make those same misrepresentations in court. There's also usually no court reporter, so the other side can't be, or it's a lot harder to claim perjury. If they go into court and say, my employee did this, if they actually didn't do that and you can prove it later, you can't prove perjury because there's no record of that statement in court. It's usually not recorded. There's usually no court transcription made of the evidence. So a small investment in small claims lawsuits for an investigator might give you a big advantage as a claimant.